And one of the things to me about the past, I believe, is never a place of pity, but it's a place of prosperity. It's something that you use to elevate you to move forward. And so a lot of times when people write those books or when they do that thing, they're doing it from a place of, I'm gonna set the record straight. I'm gonna let everybody know. And they
Cat
don't care.
Williams.
Yeah, they don't care who they drag down in the process. And
Right.
I believe that's very messy and that has no benefit to anyone besides just being a gossip blog. You might as well be a gossiper.
You got challenges that you're going to run across.
So I would post myself working out or in the gym or different pictures. And I realized that my followers were not my target audience. So I'm getting these thirsty deacons and people's uncles showing up. And I'm like, hey, beautiful. I don't need no more hey, beautiful. I mean, if I didn't get a proposal within a week, like what is going on?
So after a while, you think your name is Hey Beautiful.
Exactly. So I'm like, I don't need no more Hey Beautiful. So I stopped sharing my workout stuff because I wanted to stop attracting that kind of attention. Yeah.
You know, I had a lady I interviewed earlier today, and she said that her successes and her customers are not her followers. She said a lot of her customers are not even on social media. And that's interesting. I don't know with you, how does that?
My corporate clients are not. Mm-hmm. They are not at all. And actually, I'm on LinkedIn and we may connect, but their LinkedIn is typically bare minimum, nothing there.
Like, so tell me. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. I was just saying the truly wealthy that are in a corporate context are very, very cautious about their public persona. Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So who needs to be on LinkedIn? Because I'm not on LinkedIn.
Business professionals. So if that's your audience, it also can help you, find jobs, network, and connect with people. So it's definitely like the work social media.
I young lady who's helping me with my book, she's telling me, I'm coming out with a book on sales. And she said, you definitely need to be on LinkedIn because the people there, the business-minded people, not only that, they let you come speak and things of that sort because you got a book. And so what do you think about that? Do you think all speakers should have a book?
I think everyone should write a book.
Okay.
I believe it's a part of you documenting your journey. And so I teach a concept called Preach Your Book, where I used to help pastors structure their sermons over, 3 or 4 months so that they would basically preach everything that they're going to be including in their book. And then we just transcribe and edit it. And, that's the book. But what I found for most people, that concept works, that if you don't like sitting down to write in a traditional sense, dictate your book, talk about it, talk through it.
Yeah, that's what we've been doing.
Episodes. Yeah. You can do it like this podcast, you can do it live, or you can just do it in front of a friend, but just record it. Even if you need to have someone ask you questions and say, okay, here's the top, 20 things I want to talk about, or the top 10 things, just ask questions regarding
those. That's what she did. Yeah, that's what she did. She videoed me. It was asking questions. So what do you think about people using AI to help them with the book?
I love AI. I love AI because number one, it's a time saver. But one of the things that you've got to do is you've got to do what we call spinning. So what I used to do with articles, I used to write articles for people who blogged, and I would write one solid article, maybe 300, 500 words. And then I would spin the article, which means it's the same concept, the same premise, the same flow, but I would change the order of the sentences. I would change the words. I would change the nuances. So that I would change just maybe one slight emphasis. And so that way I would have one concept, but I would have 5 different articles off of one concept. So they're technically the same article, but not exactly the same article. And AI could do that for you in a fraction of the time it used to take me to do that. And so what you've got to do is when you utilize AI, you've still got to spin it and put your sauce on it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So
you still got to
make sure that they feel that, because they don't want to seem like Now, my strategy is to come out with my sales book first, and then next will be a mindset, like a mental toughness book. And then the third one could be kind of my life. Now, one of the challenges with
Mhm.
that, I really, because when you write something about you and your life, people want the tea. And you can't,
Mhm.
I got family members that I can't really say anything because I know they'll be pissed if I
Mhm.
put some of the real stuff in the book. I mean, how do you deal with that? I mean, how would your ex feel if you put all the tea in there about all the publics and the arguments? What do you think he would feel about that?
I think you would have to get their permission, number one, if you use their names or use different names in order to say things without people's permission. But I also believe for me, some of those things I really just don't need to say, you know?
Really?
Um,
I thought that's
mhm,
what the book is about. You got to be your honest to God truth. I know, for
mhm,
example, I would never get permission from my mother if I was to say, "Mom, I'm gonna put some of this in the book." She would never give me a permission on that.
yeah.
So, am I really telling my story, my truth, if I'm not putting some of the stuff in there that really happened?
I think there's a way to communicate it without incriminating anyone or without tearing down anyone. And one of the things to me about the past, I believe, is never a place of pity, but it's a place of prosperity. It's something that you use to elevate you to move forward. And so, a lot of times when people write those books or when they do that thing, they're doing it from a place of, I'm going to set the record straight. I'm going to let everybody know. And they
Cat
don't care.
Williams,
Yeah, they don't care who they drag down in the process. And
right?
I believe that's very messy and that has no benefit to anyone besides just being a gossip blog. You might as well be a gossiper. Um,
Well,
mm,
all the people, well, I'm not gonna say all, but
mhm.
you got 80%, I would say, that's on the social media, on the internet, that is praising Cat Williams for, because they say, well, people said that about him, and now he's just coming back and telling the truth. So what do you say about that? If people have said stuff and then you write a book and you want to tell the truth about that, should you still, in your opinion, I know, what's your opinion on that?
Mhm. I would never address a lie. To this day, I have learned from, especially from my past and my previous experiences, the energy that I give to a thing gives it life. So if
Wow.
it's a lie and if it's untrue, why would I feed it to make it to extend its life? No,
Well,
thank you.
you got people saying that if you don't address a lie, it becomes a truth.
That's not
In
true.
most people's eyes.
It's not true. That's not true at
Really?
all. Mm-mm. And so anything that's legal or in a court of law, things may need to be documented, but I don't have to give my energy and attention to that thing. When you're writing a book, you are going deep. It takes you somewhere. And it takes you to a very you live in the state, you almost are reliving these experiences again. And so what I encourage people to do is to do what we call like a personal timeline and a personal history, and almost go back in your life and find those five and maybe 5 to 10 different pivotal moments during each season of your life, your adolescence, your teenage years, your adulthood, your early adulthood, middle age, older life, and do a timeline and mark those things that were life changing or defining moments, and then write down 3 lessons that you've learned from each one of those. My professor in grad school, his name is Dr. Gray, Dr. John Rick Gray. He had us do that, and it changed my life. I'll forever look at the past differently because now, instead of that just being a point of pain or a point of trauma, now I'm like, okay, what 3 things did I learn from this? And if my children were to see this or read this or to know about it, what would I want them to know from this experience to move forward? What would I want them to know about me moving forward? And so that's how I view the past. So my recommendation, even just in your memoir, would to be not necessarily, I mean, until you become like like a New York Times bestseller, writing a
Mm-hmm.
memoir will only be significant for the people who know you, like
You.
you, and trust you already,
Right,
right?
right, right.
So I believe, like, even in your empowerment book, why not just use
Add some of
specific
those in
stories.
there.
Yeah, just add stories. And I mean, I know this is not a consultation session and you didn't ask me about your book.
No. But I appreciate that because I mean, really, who wants to hear about my life? So that
Yeah.
third book could be gone. So I can insert.
No,
That's great.
It's not gone. I believe your books are empowerment series because even though you do well in sales, you do well in business, your strength, your calling card is empowerment. And so why not make an empowerment series, a 3-volume? The first one can be empowerment for business and sales. The next one is empowerment for a different group, and empowerment for another one. And you share your stories throughout that. Some of your personal stories.
Guess what it's called?
What?
First book, My Truth on Sales. Second book, My Truth on Mindset and Personal Development. Third book, My Truth. So it's all about my truth. I'm gonna give you my truth. I don't know what everybody else's truth is, but I'm just telling you like mine. Like sales, people got all kind of ideas about sales, and people have all kind of stories. Now I've been in sales 30 years, always from the Atlanta Journal to AT&T to home-based businesses. So my whole life has been commission sales. So I've never really had a salary job. Even when I started at AT&T, it was commissions because they were changing over to another department and they gave us that option. So I've always but I'm saying it's my truth on sales because I hear all kind of like it's 9 myths that I hear that I want to talk about in the book, that this is my belief on that. And this is what happened to me on that. So I
still feel like we need to do something a little different with the title. That the title should be something that people see themselves in. Right now, your title is My Truth, which is about you. The book needs to attract other people so that it's about them. Does that make sense?
Wow.
And then you can have that as a subtitle, but I think you should play with that a little bit more. Play with the title.
Well, you're gonna have to. Well, you're gonna charge me for that. See, you can't throw that out there and get my head like, okay, I got to come up with titles, and then you won't give me any. You got to throw some out there. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, have you read Seth Godin's book, The Linchpin?
Wow. I've read all his, not most of his books, but I hadn't read that one.
Yeah.
I love the Purple Cow. Did you read that one?
I did. But the linchpin is all about making yourself indispensable. That's just what I did.
Yeah, you just did. You got me on that one. Yeah, you got me. So out of everything you do, what do you think and what have your close associates or your friends tell you that you're the best at? And what do you feel like you are the best at?
I am the best at strategy.
Okay, give me an example.
The best at strategy, taking you from 0 to 100 in 60 seconds or less, basically. So if you have an idea for business, or if you already have a business that's going forward and you want to know, how do I get more customers? How do I get more visibility? How do I take this thing to the next level? That's what I do well. I do really well with creating campaigns that allow you to not only get visibility, but build that relationship and convert them into customers. Yeah.
Yeah, you just kind of smoothly said to me, nobody wants to hear your truth. I believe you. They don't want to hear my truth. They don't want to hear my story. I got that. I'm not like a TV star or something. Yeah. So I mean, I appreciate that. That's some good insight. And that's when you said strategy. That's some real good insight on that. I appreciate that.
And that's the strategy, is to flip it so that they see themselves in it. And because they're going to be...
Make sure that you like and subscribe and hit the all button and all that kind of stuff, because we're going to have a lot of good interviews on this podcast.